you have to wonder what the real reason is that Tomorrow War is getting blasted by critics on Rotten Tomatoes. Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it! The Tomorrow War is a new sci-fi action movie streaming exclusively on Amazon Prime. Before I get into my actual thoughts on the movie, let's address the elephant in the room. The Tomorrow War currently sits at 52% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it also has a 81% with audience scores.
That makes sense.
Now, this isn't the first time that this type of divide in the scores has shown on that particular site. We've known for some time that Rotten Tomatoes scores actually mean jack shit. Not only are the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes typically biased, they clearly have no idea what the average moviegoer wants from their entertainment. If I had to make a good comparison just to show you what I mean, let's look at your average superhero movie. Typically, those movies follow very generic formulas and still get good reviews from critics. Meanwhile, a movie like The Tomorrow War, which I would argue is no better or worse than your average superhero movie, gets trashed by critics. So what's the real difference between The Tomorrow War and your average superhero movie in the critics' eyes to incite this type of reaction? Maybe the movie isn't made by the right company. You gotta love those sweet Disney dollars. Maybe the movie doesn't check the right agenda boxes. I mean, we live in a world where if your movie stars Chris Pratt, that's considered problematic. Because God forbid you have a charismatic and entertaining actor in your lead role. What were you thinking, Amazon?
Probably not a good idea.
I'm going to get into my thoughts on the movie itself, but I will say this before I do. I can't always guarantee that I'm going to say everything that you want to hear, but what I can guarantee is that I'm going to be honest. That's what you get on Real Shift. You get honest opinions, no shilling, and no pandering, guaranteed. Ain't that right, Jack?
You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties. You can't handle the truth! Fuck you!
As far as this movie goes, it felt like a throwback to the mid to late 90s action blockbusters that we used to get. Something akin to, say, Independence Day or Armageddon. There's a global extinction level event that is threatening humanity and needs to be resolved in the most over-the-top cinematic way possible. If that sounds fun to you, then this is the movie for you.
Alrighty then.
I hate saying that a movie is fun because to me that's the biggest cop-out in reviews these days, and usually fun is code for no substance. I would instead call this movie entertaining in the most simplistic way possible. It really leans into those crowd-pleasing moments, much like the blockbusters did that I just mentioned. Is everything believable or logical? Absolutely not. Does it have top-notch acting? Nah, not really. That's not really why you go to watch a movie like this. It's not trying to be anything other than what it actually is. That's not to say that I wasn't surprised by some of the more human themes in this movie.
Why do you cry?
Given that the plot of the movie revolves around future humanity recruiting or drafting modern-day humanity to fight in a war in the future against the alien race that is very close to wiping everyone out. The fact that we know that there's a high probability of our own death due to knowledge of the future, this actually creates these very human moments where characters ask questions like, what's the point of fighting if we know we don't win? What's the point of doing anything if we know ultimately we're going to die soon? Is life worth living if you know the end point? These are not questions that I was expecting this movie to ask. Luckily, we have a cautiously optimistic and, as I mentioned, charismatic character played by Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's character is unhappy and unfulfilled by his present-day life. He has a beautiful wife, he has a beautiful daughter, but he still wants more. He feels like he was meant for more. So when he's eventually drafted into the future war, he doesn't hesitate to jump in head first.
You son of a bitch.
Through his battle with the aliens in the future and an interaction with an older version of his daughter, he learns what is really important and what he's been underappreciating this whole time, and that's the family that he already had. Dominic Toretto would be proud.
There's always room for family.
Now, it's not Shakespeare or anything like that, but it's surprisingly relatable and makes the audience actually give a shit about this character. I have to say also, the aliens themselves, everything from the design to the way that they attack, it's all done very effectively, and they're actually quite frightening. There are moments of this movie that feel like a video game come to life. Some of these battle sequences are pretty intense and even a bit brutal at times. Anytime you incorporate time travel into your story, you open up the possibility of plot holes. That's just the nature of the beast. I will say that they do their best to explain the rules of the time travel in this universe. I appreciated that, and I also appreciated the fact that they didn't invent time travel overnight.
understood that reference.
Does it all make sense? Probably not, but that's a question that will need to be asked if you watch the movie more and more. The Tomorrow War's plot and storytelling isn't going to change your life. It's very basic, but the movie is very entertaining and it offers a surprising amount of these small character moments that I wasn't expecting. It's not typical that you care about the characters in these types of stories. For that reason, I'm going to give this movie the pleased Palpatine. Good. I may have to add another rating tier to my rating system. Something that recognizes guilty pleasure type movies. I can see the Tomorrow War fitting into that category quite nicely. So that's something I'm going to think about moving forward. So if you've seen the Tomorrow War, if you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shit. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.